ladder climbing rat, right? Where he'll say anything and everything. Like he is a perfect grifter who recognizes that this is his avenue, right? Vivek and Christie clash over Trump. I'm not running for president at MSNBC.
I'm going to take a brief moment and talk about the elephant not in the room.
Good bar from Brett Baer.
Former President Trump has been indicted in 4 different states on 91 counts. He will be processed tomorrow in Georgia at the Fulton County Jail for charges relating to the 2020 election loss.
You all signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise.
So this moment is really important. Keep an eye out for little Rhonda here and the incredibly cowardly thing that he did.
Raise your hand if you would.
Oh no. God damn. Little Rhonda. Oh no, he looks to his right, realizes everyone's raising their fucking hands. He's like, oh, time for me to raise my hand, I guess.
Just hold on. So just to be clear, Governor Christie, you were kind of late to the game there, but you raised your hand?
No, I'm doing this. Look, I'm doing this.
And I know you didn't.
Whoa. No.
What's the
look, here's the bottom line. Someone's got to stop normalizing this conduct. Okay?
Okay, Democrat.
Now whether or not you believe that the criminal charges are right or wrong, the conduct is beneath the office of President of the United States.
And the room is conflicted on this. God, this room was crazy. Do not judge anything by the reactions in this room. The only thing that this room and the audience actually showed was that they are completely oblivious to what they're listening to, and that there was genuinely a diversity of thought in that room. A lot of donors, a lot of staffers, and some Trump supporters, certainly. There's just no shot because, like, it was the most insane thing I've ever watched. Like, they would literally boo and then cheer the exact same talking point in succession.
And you know, this is the great thing about this country. Booing is allowed.
Very bad idea to address the booing, by the way. The moment that you address the booing is the moment that you're fucking cooked. You're done.
But it doesn't change the truth. It doesn't change the truth.
Mr. Ramaswamy,
because then you just said boo. The crowd does not operate. The crowd does not operate like a bunch of individuals gathered in one area. They operate like an organism. They only hear you say, oh, you can boo me all you want. They're going to go, boo! They're going to boo you harder.
raise your hand supporting.
No, I'd like to get in and respond. Let's just speak the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And Chris Christie, honest to God, your claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if your entire campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one man. And if people at home want to see a bunch of people blindly bashing Donald Trump without an iota of vision for this country, they could just change the channel to MSNBC right now. But I'm not running for president of MSNBC. I am running for president of the United States. We're skating on thin ice, and we cannot set a precedent where the party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents. It is wrong. We have to end the weaponization of justice in this country.
30 seconds, Governor DeSantis.
Let me take some.
Look how many fucking cheers he got for this, dude. Twitch chat crowd, like when you say an emote, yeah.
Sorry, 30 seconds, Governor Christie.
You make me laugh because
Goes both ways, brother.
They're booing him because he said, you make me laugh. They're like, this is no laughing matter, Chris Christie.
You sit here in an answer right.
Hold on one second.
He's so fucking gross and does I said this earlier on Leftovers. He gives. I have like a guttural, visceral reaction to his commentary. I hear what he's saying and it disgusts me. Right? He's like. There's also something very slimy about him because he's such an obvious, like ladder climbing rat, right? Where he'll say anything and everything. Like he is a perfect grifter who recognizes that this is his avenue, right? And it's weird because he looks the most lobbyist out of all of them and behaves the most lobbyist out of all of them. But he's saying all the things by opening up with the statement, the laughable statement that I am not bought and paid for by other people because he's trying to do a Donald Trump. Okay? Oh. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's fun because ultimately his campaign is going to wither away and he's going to turn into an Andrew Yang style candidate.
You sit here and answer.
Go ahead, Governor Christie.
Hold on, Governor Christie.
Hold on.
Oh, God, he's getting owned.
So listen.
I'm not going to lie. This was the moment that Chris Christie, like, died, okay? Like, I think he did not have enough momentum to begin with. He was already, like, deeply and undesirably unpopular. But I expected more from him because he's, like, at least, you know, he's a little bit quick-witted in comparison to others. He has lasered other candidates in the past, and I thought he would have a better performance. I quickly realized that was wrong, and it was not going to happen because he was just getting fucking bouldered. Because his only difference on that stage, his only promise on that stage is that he's going to be different than everybody else. In what way? Well, he's not going to put up with Trump's shit. Same with Asa Hutchinson. There's no avenue there for you.
The more time we spend doing this, the less time they can talk about issues you want to talk about. So let's just get through this section. Governor Christie.
You sit here talking about how you want to stand up for the rule of law.
Yes.
And law and order. And the fact is that it can't be selective. In your book, you had much different things to say about Donald Trump than you're saying here tonight.
That's not true.
Well, it is very true.
That is not true.
It's very true. I read it,
because
and I
there's
know.
a difference between bad behavior and illegal behavior, Chris. And you, as a prosecutor, should know better.
Yeah, you know what? I know a lot better.
There's a difference between bad behavior.
And I know a lot better than you do. You've never done it like you've never done anything to try to advance the interests of this government except to put yourself forward as a candidate tonight. And here's the thing. We've stood up for law and order. I did it as U.S. attorney. I did it as governor. And I am not going to bow to anyone when we have a president of the United States who disrespects the Constitution. He said, your
MSNBC contributor.
He said,
these are politicized indictments, and we have to call out the truth.
Martha, it's important to say that the president said, Donald Trump said, it's okay to suspend the Constitution. Now, the oath you take is to preserve, protect, and defend, not suspend. I will always stand up for our Constitution, regardless of the political pressure.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to...
God, I wish it was fuck. Oh, fuck. God damn it, Sean Hannity. You got me to accidentally click on that. I wish they showed the rest of that. I hate the way they cut this out. Yeah, first of all, the crowd's like, fuck the Constitution. But then they were like, actually, we do like the Constitution when Michael Pence was saying it. Why was DeSantis rated as winning on the chart we were looking at? He was extra unsettling with his forced smile, hardly commanded the stage, genuinely surprised at the positive reactions. So Ron DeSantis did something very interesting. He did not have a strong showing at all. But I think that allowed him to kind of slide on by while Vivek was the one who was getting bouldered as though he was the front runner. Ron DeSantis is really intensely dislikable. Like the visceral disgust I have for Vivek, I do not have for Ron DeSantis. When I hear Ron DeSantis speak, I am overcome with apathy, and I'm overcome with like sadness. He's just so incredibly cringe that I can't think of anything but how incredibly socially nervous, how anxious he is as a human being, how he's like acting out the role that he's supposed to have. And I think for that reason, the ickiness didn't really stick because he didn't speak as much. He didn't get attacked as much. He didn't really like have any moments where he just like took charge. There were a couple different moments where he just basically said his own lines over and over again. But we've heard him say these lines before. And because he's gotten a lot of coverage from Fox News, we've heard him say these lines on Fox News before. Right? So it's not exactly new. So, Baba, biraz kısar mısın? Okay. So Ron DeSantis noticed that he would get hammered in the fucking polls every time he made media appearances. So I think he made the decision to just like deliver the lines and shut the fuck up in any other moment. Like, he never came across like a leader. He never came with one exception, but even then he flubbed it when he like tried to talk about climate change, where he dove on the grenade for everybody else on stage, and even then he flubbed it. And the most prescient moment from that climate change conversation was Vivek Ramaswamy going, "Climate change is a hoax," or "Climate change agenda is a hoax." So I think he did decent by the standards. He did decent with what he's working with. Because he can't be someone he's not. He can't be a charismatic person. He can't be a telegenic person. He can't all of a sudden fucking turn around and become like this Riz Lord, right? So what do you do in that situation? What do you do in that situation? You just shut the fuck up and let everybody eat each other alive, and you get your couple of talking points. I said this even during the debates where I said, look, he is trying to cut ads. He is trying to cut ads. He's trying to cut ads for himself, campaign ads. He's just trying desperately. He's trying desperately to just like say his talking points and shut the fuck up. Anyway. Vivek laughs at Pence over answer to pardoning Trump. This was a wonderful moment as well.
Mike, why don't you say this? Join me in making a commitment that on day one you would pardon Donald Trump. I'm the only candidate on the stage who had the courage to actually say it. That is how we move our nation forward.
I don't know
and
why
turn the page forward. That's exactly
Trump
right.
Will be convicted of these crimes.
So Mike Pence can't say. Here's one thing that I never saw from the media. Mike Pence is a key witness, the star witness on a federal case involving Donald Trump. So this is actually a really scummy question to direct to Mike Pence, knowing full well that he can't fucking say he's going to pardon Trump. What are you, insane? He's the star witness. Like, yeah, no shit, he's not going to say anything. Which is why I think he did it, which was very clever. But it doesn't really matter because Mike Pence is he's irrelevant, in the grand scheme of things. Nobody gives a shit.
Be able to make a commitment, the same justice system that was this corrupt.
Here's the difference between you and me.
Yeah, I'm not a professional politician. That's the difference. Who can answer a question?
I've actually given pardons when I was governor of the state of Indiana. It usually follows a finding of guilt and contrition by the individual that's been convicted. So, look, if I'm president of the United States, we'll give fair consideration to any pardon request. But if I may, it's not about looking back at January 2021. It's about January 20th, 2017. I put my left hand on Ronald Reagan's Bible. I raised my right hand.
How many times have we heard that? Put my left hand on Ronald Reagan's Bible. Okay, dude.
To support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And it ended with a prayer, so help me God. It was a promise that I made to the American people, but I also made it to my Heavenly Father. Every day for 4 years, I sought to keep that oath. And everyone on this stage needs to make it clear whether or not they'll do the same. if they earn this job and the confidence of the American people. Now, look, I've made it clear. I had hoped that the issues surrounding the 2020 election and the controversies around January 6th had not come to this, had not come to criminal proceedings. I would rather they had been resolved by the American people and the American people alone. But no one's above the law, and President Trump is entitled to the presumption of innocence that every American is entitled to, and we will make sure and extend that to him. But the American people deserve to know that the president asked me in his request that I reject or return votes unilaterally.
By the way, they just let him ride. Like, he's just talking. Fox News is totally letting him ride. You want to know why? Because the very same reason why he became Donald Trump's vice president. He was the Koch brother candidate. The reason why Donald Trump said yes to having Mike Pence as his VP was because he wanted to give assurances to the real mega donors of the Republican Party, to the institutional controllers of the Republican Party, that like, sure, I'll have Mike Pence by my side. That's the very same reason why Fox News is letting him fucking go on with this boring bullshit. Okay? That's why he was the VP, just like Joe Biden was the VP for Barack Obama, because they wanted to they wanted to at least like saturate the racial vote a little bit by saying, look, here's a guy who's like kind of racist and like a goofy ass white guy that you know, a goofy ass white boy that you know and trust. He's going to be the VP. Don't worry, he will keep the black Muslim Kenyan man in check. Okay. Pence was also for the evangelical vote. Fuck no. Fuck no. Pence is a full-on Heartland Institute plan. Motherfucker says cigarettes aren't bad for you. No. Dude. Pence is not for the evangelical vote, my friend. Evangelicals are infinitely more positive on Donald Trump than they are on Michael Pence. The evangelicals do not even consider another person other than Trump. Trump is Jesus. They're talking about back in 2016. No, even back then they loved Trump. Even back then, they loved Trump. By the end of the election cycle, evangelicals were completely captivated by Donald Trump. Mike Pence's main reason for being selected, I thought the common narrative was Pence brought Trump the evangelicals. No, the evangelicals already liked Donald Trump because they are not actual religious people. They are television watcher conspiracy theorists, okay? If anything, they probably brought more moderate evangelicals or more moderate Protestants on board. These guys are zealots. They're a political group. You guys are crazy. Evangelicals are an active voting bloc in the Republican Party, okay? They were already absolutely captivated by Donald Trump. Yes, Jerry Falwell was probably a much more important figure in bringing over evangelical voters to Donald Trump than anyone else. So these guys aren't Christians. They don't operate like Christians. They will say fuck Jesus Christ if they have to. Okay? I don't care what the narrative was. I'm telling you what it actually is. Okay? I don't care what the mainstream media 2016 narrative was about Mike Pence and what his bona fides were. I'm telling you what the real reason why Trump brought Mike Pence on. Mike Pence is a fucking built in a laboratory Koch brothers guy. Donald Trump's main backers were a Mercer coalition and a bunch of other billionaires that did not actually fully agree with the rest of the Republican Party on certain issues. He was brought in specifically to capitulate to the Kochs and the other old school institutional Republican Party backers. Okay? To say, hey, look, trust me, like, we're not going to deviate too hard. Same thing that Obama did with Biden to get the whites to vote. Exactly. So, you need to play a balancing act when you bring in a person like this. You need to cover for areas that your candidate is weak in. And a lot of people thought Donald Trump was volatile. Because listen, if Mike Pence was so strong in changing the hearts and minds of evangelicals, you would see that in his fucking poll numbers. Evangelicals prefer Donald Trump to Mike Pence every single day of the fucking week. Okay? Now let's continue.
Power that no vice president in American history had ever exercised or taken. He asked me to put him over the Constitution. And I chose the Constitution, and I always will. I had no right to overturn the election, and Kamala Harris will have no right to overturn the election when we beat them in 2024.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey,
I mean, there was a lot to be said here with the responses. Let's take a look.
Number one issue is climate change. How will you, as both President of the United States and leader of the Republican Party, calm their fears that the Republican Party doesn't care about climate change?
So we want to start on this with a show of hands. Do you believe in human behavior is causing climate change? Raise your hand.
So Ron DeSantis jumps on this grenade. It's a live grenade, right? In some ways, it's a live grenade. Look at Ron just fucking taking the initiative and just jumping on it.
If you do.
Look, we're not school children. Let's have the debate. I mean, I'm happy to take it to start. Alexander?
So do you want to raise your hand or not?
I don't think that's the way to do. So let me just say to Alexander this. First of all, one of the reasons our country's decline is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the beach while those people were suffering. He was asked about it. He said, no comment. Are you kidding me? As somebody that's handled disasters in Florida, you got to be activated. You've got to be there. You've got to be present.
Yeah, why are those disasters happening in Florida with like much greater frequency? I wonder. Why is that? Also, wasn't he in fucking Japan when one of them happened? Like one of those disasters literally happened? Am I crazy? I might be misremembering. But what's up with that? I mean, if you're the governor of Florida, just fucking talking about climate change like this is so funny because it's like, dude, your state currently cannot get any housing insurance. Like, you can't. Because it's always underwater. There's no insurance policy that will insure houses in your fucking state due to climate change.
You got to be helping people who are doing this. And here's the deal.
Let's just answer the question.
So is that a yes? Or is that a yes? Is that a hand raise?
You do not.
I think it was a hand raise for him, and it's my hands are in my pockets.
No.
I didn't raise a hand. Let us be honest.
I think that was a hand raise for him. My hands were in my pockets. Okay, dude, you are such a fucking brown-nosing teacher's pet motherfucker. Oh, my God. Like, the more I went back to this debate, the more I started getting annoying with fucking Vivek. One, because like everything he said was really, really annoying. But two, I feel like he's just trying too hard. He's too much of a fucking tryhard, man. I don't know if fucking Republicans are gonna respond all that positively if he keeps laying it on this thick.
As Republicans, I'm the only person on the stage who isn't
he is
so
male
I can
Pete.
say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax. And we have to...
People are booing not him, for the record. They're booing the moderators here. I just want to clear something up.
The climate change agenda is a hoax. And we have to declare independence for it. And the reality is, the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. And so the reality is more people are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of action.
I think either they were booing the moderators or the bought and paid for thing because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because then they start applauding.
Is the wet blanket on our economy. And so the reality is more people are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of actual climate change.
Governor Haley, are you bought and paid for?
Is down by 98%
Hold on.
in the last century.
Listen.
I've had it, no,
Wait, hold on.
I've had enough. I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here. And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Come over and give me a hug. Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
The same type of amateur.
And you'll help elect me just like you did to Obama, too. Give me that
the same type of amateur.
Hold on. Governor Haley, would you like to respond? Are you bought and paid for?
What I would like to say is the fact that I think this is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
Yeah, that'll definitely work well with Republicans. They love women in power. You know what I mean?
First of all, we do care about...
Dude, Nikki Haley would kill it in British politics, by the way. Nikki Haley is like a British Lib Dem, not even like a Tory. You know what I mean? She's got it all.
Clean air, clean water. We want to see that taken care of, but there's a right way to do it. And the right way to do it is, first of all, yes, is climate change real? Yes, it is. But if you want to go and really change the environment, then we need to start telling China and India that they have to lower their emissions. That's where our problem is. And these green subsidies that Biden has put in, all he's done is help China, because he doesn't understand all these electric vehicles that he's done, what that does. Half of the batteries for electric vehicles are made in China. And so that's not helping the environment. You're putting money in China's pocket, and Biden did that.
So let's talk about this, okay? Climate change, or at least the externalities due to climate change, extreme weather conditions becoming the norm, is tangible, is unavoidable, like the top of the hour ad break, unless you're subscribed to avoid the top of the hour ad break, of course, by subscribing for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. Okay? Let's make one thing clear. We have the highest per capita emissions and we don't even have a manufacturing economy anymore. Yeah, also, who the fuck is China manufacturing for? Like, whenever people say, oh, China and India, like, they are the highest carbon polluters, I'm like, okay, who are they polluting for? The fuck do you mean? And even then, one, they have better climate policies. They have to fucking do that because their air is not breathable. And two, two, they have a lower per capita carbon emission than we do. Of course they have a lower per capita carbon emission than we do. Nobody touches America, okay, on that front. Anyway, here's the 3-minute ad break now. Let me get back to what I was going to say, though. Because the impact of anthropogenic climate change is becoming impossible to not reckon with. You're either under fire all over, you're on fire, or you're underwater all over the country. Republicans have to reckon with that. And there's the one far right way of reckoning with that, which is that it's a Chinese hoax, it's Chinese space lasers, it's, I don't know, space wizards, it's made up, whatever. Or the more moderate Republican position is like slowly shifting away from saying like global warming, hello, look at this snowball, to actually sure the earth is warming up. That's fine, that's happening. And it's either happening due to China and India and the third world or developing nations, which is fucking false, obviously, or it's happening because of the naturally occurring phenomena of the Earth's climate just warming up in and of itself. Okay? That's it. It's like a normal, natural cycle. There's also some other interesting points. That they engage with from time to time, such as we actually can't do anything about it, or we mustn't do anything about it. If we do anything about it, then it's actually going to harm us. The cure can't be worse than the poison, right? Similar to COVID. So they're hitting all of those different talking points right now. They're addressing pretty much all of those different talking points.
So, first of all, I think we need to acknowledge the truth, which is these subsidies are not working. We also need to take on the international world and say, okay, India and China, you've got to stop polluting. And that's when we'll start to deal with
Senator Scott, you brought...
Like, it's pretty funny to say, yeah, in order to stop climate change, like, Nikki Haley is so funny because, like, she's saying climate change is real. Anthropogenic climate change is real, okay? But it's not the man-made climate change that is in America that's causing this. It's carbon pollution, sure, it's emissions. It's the Chinese emitting, right? And that's such a fucking idiotic take because then you just undermine your own perspective. Then America can do something and should do something about it, right?